All right, hey, welcome traders. Sean Lucas here, head trader of the Apiary Fund. Just excited to be with you today. Janet Yellen just had her big announcement for the day. I think she reported something to the effect that economic strength has been rising. The consumer is getting stronger at least in the U.S. economy, and anyway, I think what that does is it really paves the way for continued rate and strengthening moving into the future. And so what we'll want to do is keep an eye on the US dollar, because I think what we're going to see over the next few months is a continual strengthening of that dollar. Now obviously a lot of things can happen, as new information comes out, that prognosis will change and things will be a little bit different, but at least keep an eye on the dollar, because I think all signs right now are, if those interest rates start rising, then we're going to likely see some strengthening in that dollar, at least relative to the rest of the currencies in the world. Barring any economic impact in any economic adjustments in other currencies, barring all of that stays the same. Anyway, so good to be with you. Sean Lucas, head trader for the Apiary Fund here today, and I have got a special guest for you. Let me go see if I can grab him real quick. Just hold on 1 minute. Don't leave. Stay here. Type in the chat comment box while we're waiting. Let me get him lined up, and then I'll see you in just a second. Hold on just a second. All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you'll give us a big round of applause for Justin. Hey, folks, so good to be with you here today. Justin Turner of the LA Dodgers. And it's great to be with you today. We're excited. Big game last night. Game 6 of the World Series. Yeah, we're going Game 7. Tonight, we're going to win. Dodgers all the way, right? Hey, it's good to be with you here today. I'm so grateful for my friend Sean Lucas for inviting me. I had to convince the coaches that it was okay to take a quick trip to Utah, talk with the Apiary crowd because they're awesome. Anyway, just wanted to talk a few things with you today, talk a little bit about trading. I know most of you think that I'm this big baseball player, but what you don't know is I'm a trader. Go trading. There's a couple of concepts, that are really applicable to the world of trading and baseball. So I wanted to talk with you a little bit about those. First thing is when you're up to the bat and you get a 90-mile-an-hour pitch coming at you, one of the greatest things in the world, one of the greatest feelings is to hit that ball. I mean, it is just beautiful. Hit that ball, you watch it sailing up and over the fence. You see some lucky fan catching it, lucky guys. Yeah, just a great feeling. In baseball, there's a concept called batting averages, and basically, it takes a look at how many times you're at bat and how many times you're able to hit the ball. And so you take the number of hits and you divide that by the number of at-bats, and that gives you some range. Currently a really good batting average is somewhere about around 30%. In baseball we call that 300. Anyway, when it comes to trading, the same concept applies. Every time you place a trade, how many wins do you have? So you can look at your winning percentage and figure out, how many times I sit down at the computer and place a trade, You know, how many times am I going to win out of 10, out of 100 times of trading? And that's a good concept. But in reality, in the industry, there's another concept that's batting average, at least in the financial industry, is a real thing. It's a defined thing. It's something that portfolio managers use to measure how successful they are in the market. It works a little bit different than how you might think. You know, rather than looking at a win over the number of times out of the number of trades you place, we do something a little bit more difficult. We take a look at how many times you're able to beat the S&P. So if you think about the S&P, right, it's going to be up or down on any given day. So if you're sitting there trading and you're up and the S&P is up, then you know you're both up, right? And so what we do is we measure how much you're up compared to how much the S&P is up. So if you in your trading session that day you make 1.5% return and the S&P makes 1% return, well then you had a hit. That's a win on your batting average in the financial industry. Same thing on the opposite side. So let's say that the S&P is down 0.5%, 0.5% in the day, but you're up, right? That's a win. You make 1%, S&P loses 0.5%, you're a win. Same thing if both of you lose, right? If the S&P loses 1%, but you lose 0.5%, that's a win. That's a hit in the in your financial batting average. And so, and this is a useful way to kind of measure. And this is something I like to, or Sean Lucas likes to look at in the Apiary Fund. This is something Sean likes to look at to see, hey, how is this trader performing relative to the index, right? So if he can take, you know, some of that money in the Apiary Fund and he can put it in an index, it's not actively managed, right? And so what he likes to see is he likes to develop those traders so that they're doing better than the index. It doesn't matter if they lose for the day. What he likes to see is that are they performing better than the index? And so this is something that you can, in your own trading, look at. Look at your batting average. How many times, you know, 300, you know, 3 times you're beating the S&P out of 3 out of 10 times. You've got a 300 batting average in the financial industry. You know, just something that you ought to take a look at. You know, it's good to look at if you're winning, right? That's obviously a good thing to know. It's good to know, are you winning? But even more important than that, are you beating the index? And that's a little bit trickier challenge and something we want to be working towards as traders anyway in your game of trading. Second thing, Warren Buffett, good friend of mine. Oh, Warren. Warren Buffett says, you know, the trick to investing is waiting for the right pitch. If you think about that, the right pitch, what's the right pitch? You know, a lot of traders at the Apiary Fund, at least worldwide, anywhere, they just take anything they can get, right? So they'll be sitting down in a trading session. They'll be like, Antsy, I want to place this trade. I want to swing and I want to hit that ball, right? But in reality, one of the challenges is that you're not always good at every setup. And this is something I know and I've experienced in baseball, right? So not every pitch, even though it may be in the zone, not every one of those pitches is the right pitch for me, okay? So if I like to see my pitch a little low in the strike zone, I may give up a ball that's a little bit higher and right in that strike zone. So I might go a little low and wait for that pitch before swinging. Now, you know, people may say, you know, as Warren Buffett says, come on, hit that. You know you can hit that. That's true. You might be able to hit it, but is it the right pitch? And I think that's something traders, when you're trading, you need to know that same thing. You need to know, is this the right pitch for me? Don't take every trade. It's not worth it, right? Have a little bit of patience, you know, wait for the right pitch, wait for that right setup, and then I think you'll find that you'll do a lot better, you know, especially when you have all those things working together at just the right moment. I think you'll find that your trading will be a lot better at that point. All right, real quick, Sean asked me to draw. Last week there was a little, I don't know, a little competition or a little challenge to put some comments into Facebook, and they're gonna win a special prize when they do that. So what I've done is I've taken all your entries, anyone who made a comment last week, anyone who liked Apiary Fund, anyone who promoted our Facebook Live, we entered you into a drawing, and you're going to win. This lucky person right here is going to win a swag bag, a lucky swag bag from the Apiary Fund. Let's hear a big round of applause for Vicky Haas. Vicky Haas, congratulations. We're going to be sending you a little swag bag full of Apiary Fund goodies here in the next couple of days. So look for that, Vicky. And also, Vicky, if you just want to take a little screenshot of you opening that up, we'd love to see that on Facebook. Share that with everyone else out here. So. Any rate, so two things that we covered so far. One, batting average in trading works a little bit different than you might think. It's how well you're performing, how well you're hitting the ball in your trading, and as you manage your Apiary Fund portfolio versus the industry, versus the S&P, versus any index. It can be any index. And so what you want to do is, if you're going to really, spend those hours with a batting coach, like all the great batting coaches at Apiary Fund, if you're going to spend that time with your batting coach, make sure it counts. Make sure that you're beating the S&P. Second concept for the day was looking at waiting for the right pitch. Looking at that pitch as it comes in, waiting for the right setup when you're trading. So important. Don't take every trade out there. There's gazillions of trades. I wish in baseball, I wish I had as many trades as you have opportunities. I wish I had as many times at bat as you have opportunities in the market. I think it'd be great. But you have so many opportunities. Just wait. Have a little patience. Wait for that right setup when things really are all coming together. I think that you're going to find that your percentages and your success rate is going to just skyrocket when you're able to do that. Final thing, I want to talk a little bit about loading some bases. I want to, when you're trading, you can always try and hit a home run, and that's good. Home runs are fantastic. But what about the singles? What about the doubles? What about getting someone on base? What about having a little bit of strategy with how you're building positions in the market? I think there's a real key to making money. It's one thing to be right, but it's a completely different thing to walk away from a trading session loaded with pips. And I think that's what we really need to focus in on as trading is, I think if you watch Sean in the trading room, I think you're going to see that he'll constantly be looking for base hits. He'll constantly be looking for these times when, just putting a little pip here, a couple pips here into the market. I think you're going to find as those pips gather, you'll get a run come in and another run come in and another run come in, and all the while you're just working to load the bases. You want someone on first, you want someone on second, you want someone on third. I think that's really the key to making a lot of money in the market. So, example, I remember watching Sean, and he was in the trading room, and he's sitting there and he's got all these positions on, he's loaded, and all of a sudden he's in this consolidation zone. The market's going up and down and up and down. He's got 3 or 4 different positions on, he's in a really good place, and then all of a sudden he swings, and that market just takes off. It's a breakout like you've never seen before. That thing just flies, and the bar's just growing. All of a sudden his pips are going, That's a win for you. Justin, I hope you get that this evening. I hope tonight you get that tonight. Any rate, thanks guys, appreciate that. All right. Anyway, I think as you, I am soaked. Man, it's cold in Utah. Get me back to LA. So anyway, loading those bases up, getting those positions on, and then when that home run happens, man, you can make a lot of money real quick. Your account can go from 0 to 50 to 100 to 200 pips in just a split second. Now that, my friends, is a great feeling. Just like hitting it out of the park, winning in the market like that is a really great feeling. Anyway, thank you, Sean. Thank you, Apiary. We are go Dodgers tonight. We want to see you win. We want to see you win that World Series. Take that. All right. Thanks, everybody. We'll catch you next week. See ya.